Hello and welcome everyone to this session where we are going to be talking about how to look at the markets over the weekend. My name is Raja Venkatraman. I'm the co-founder of NewTrader and also your trading influencer. Been in the markets for more than 15 years, happily married with a loving wife and an energetic son who keeps me on the run just like the markets. So friends, we are back once again to the weekend analysis and we are going to be seeing how to shortlist some candidates so that when the opportune moment comes during the week, you could either take an intraday or a multi-day, depending on what kind of signals are emerging from NeoTrader. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. We are going to see how to look at the markets, how to see what kind of sentiments are in play, और ये sentiments से हमें क्या नजर में आ रहा है. तो सबको पता है कि मार्केट्स में काफी दिनों से एक टग ऑफ वॉर चल रहा था और निफ्टी या बैंक निफ्टी कौन लेके जाएगा हमें आगे, ये सबके मन में सवाल थी. बैंक निफ्टी ने थोड़ा इंडिकेशन तो दिया था हमें, बट जो निफ्टी में जो सेलिंग प्रेशर आ रही थी कंटिन्यूसली एट 18,300, तो वहां से जो एक ब्रेकआउट देखा है हमने, उससे काफी जाहिर है कि वहां से जो मोमेंटम हम देख रहे हैं, वहां से 300 पॉइंट आगे निकल चुका है बैंक निफ्टी और एक नया हाई बनाया है. एंड दिसंबर सीरीज डेफिनेटली इज ऑन अ वेरी वेरी गुड स्टार्ट, राइट. सो ये सब है थोड़े ख्याल मार्केट्स को देखकर, और व्हेन यू आर गोइंग टू पुट टू एंड टू टुगेदर एंड ट्राइंग टू फाइंड आउट वेदर व्हाट इज द काइंड ऑफ सेटअप व्हिच यू आर हैविंग, we will see today on how to get into the market inroads, how to decide on what kind of action to take place, and find out especially the momentum aspects using RSI. So we will be using RSI as a theme to shortlist some of the candidates, right? These will be the candidates which will be there as part of the watch list, but then watch list is a watch list, ठीक है. तो watch list वो stocks है जो हमें लगता है over the weekend कि यहां से एक पोटेंशियल बन सकता. नाउ बेस्ड ऑन द स्टॉक्स व्हिच वी आर शॉर्टलिस्टिंग एज पार्ट ऑफ द वॉच लिस्ट, वी हैव टू सी बेस्ड ऑन वेरियस काइंड्स ऑफ परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन व्हिच आर इमर्जिंग इन द मार्केट, कि क्या टाइप का इंट्राडे सिग्नल उस वॉच लिस्ट में से आता है, क्या टाइप का मल्टीडे सिग्नल आता है. तो आप सबको पता है, आप सबके अलग अलग अप्रोचेस है, वो आप यूज कर सकते हैं अगर उस स्टॉक्स में से कोई मोमेंटम आपको दिखाई दे. बट now what we are going to do is we are going to look at the markets, we are going to look at various kind of sectors, we are going to check on the RSI component, and together we are going to derive a watch list. Now let's see how this watch list performs, and during the week we will get some triggers, and that's how you can take some action. All right, so are we good to go, friends? Can you all give me an AV check, my customary AV check, audio video check, before we get started? Good morning Jay Kumar, good morning Ganesh, good morning Asha. So what about the others? थोड़ा AV check हो जाए, थोड़ा good morning हो जाए. Yes friends. Okay, AV check. All right. Great. Superb. So शुरू करते हैं with our session, and let's take it step by step. Let's get an overview. Thank you all for confirming. Okay. Let's take it step by step and get started with the session. Okay, so now first of all, what we have to see is we have to see that the entire index scenario. So let's go from the top-down approach. So top-down approach is something which we have been doing, right? So what does the top-down approach suggest? The top-down approach suggests that this has been the performance. Okay, this has been the performance of the indices. And you can see here that after a long time, the Nifty has showed up. क्योंकि इतने हफ्तों तक बैंक निफ्टी में कभी न कभी कहीं न कहीं से एक मोमेंटम दिखाई देता था, especially from the PSU banking space. But इस हफ्ते निफ्टी ने भी एक अच्छा प्रदर्शन दिया है. और another important part which I have mentioned earlier in my videos as well, it is the mid-cap space. मिड कैप स्पेस काफी जरूरी है परफॉर्म करने के लिए, और अभी हमें दिख रहा है कि मिड कैप के जो सेक्टर है उसमें एक अच्छी मोमेंटम दिखाई दे रही है. सो ओवरऑल इफ यू सी, after a long time, majority of the indices which all of us track are in healthy green, और इससे लग रहा है कि शायद ये definitely end of the year could be a happy new year for all of us. But let's see, it's too early to call that, but let's see what has really happened in this week, because overall indices seems to be showing that yes, the momentum is there. We'll also go and take a look at that, but first let's try and find out what is the entire indices saying, respective indices, so that we get an overview. So this was the sector performance across the entire week. So you can see here that the entire week, right, entire week, there was shades of some profit booking, some shades of lethargy, but there were large shades of positivity. So इसका मतलब है कि काफी जगह पे जो शॉर्ट कवरिंग की जो सोच थी वो अब कम हो रही है या निकल चुकी है. But then we have to see it step at a time, and one of the major contributory reasons have been that there has been a very good fall, okay, in the crude oil prices. So crude oil prices have corrected. That has helped the arrest of the dollar weakening, right? Now uske साथ साथ what have we seen? We have seen that the global cues जो आ रहे हैं, okay, the global cues जो आ रहे हैं, they have said that the Fed will slow down the rate hikes, so that has also lent some kind of relief. Okay, that is another factor which could add to some positive vibes which we'll see in this month. Plus, there is a general revival in the mid-cap space. So, ये सब collective effort जो है. So, all these things are what you got to assess at the end of the week, and all those cues are suggesting that we should continue to look for bullish opportunities as well as look at dips to buy into. So, what are those dips? And what are the new levels of dips which we can look at? We'll go and take a look at that in a few moments from now. But then this is what has impacted the sector. And now when you take a look at the respective sector, you can see that IT, right? IT was a beleaguered sector. I was not preferring IT. Even I mentioned it earlier as well. But now I can see that there is a very strong push in IT. Okay. Now you can see here IT has performed quite well. You can see that PSU Bank, of course, has been doing excellently well. Now, auto seems to be picking up. Okay, auto seems to be picking up. And financial services, of course, has been one of the major contributors in the previous week. Now, when you take a look at the energy and metals, they have been a mixed bag. Okay, they have been a mixed bag. No great winners, no great losers. But then there has not been much of a trend. And energy and metals, one thing we want to focus on these two sectors is they are heavily commodity driven. Okay, so commodity prices के जो movement है वो इस पर काफी influence रखते हैं. तो आपको जब भी आप ये दोनों सेक्टर में काम करेंगे तो कमोडिटी प्राइसेस को नजर में रखते हुए काम करेंगे तो आपका जरूर फायदा होगा. Media sector, of course, has been prolific. You have been seeing that the last few weeks the media sector has been doing quite well, and even in the last week, the media sector contributed very well in terms of its movement. All right. So now, when you take a look at the overall gainers and losers, okay, overall gainers and losers को जब भी आप देखेंगे, so you have again a mixed bag. Again, you can see here some autos gained, some auto lost, and overall you will see that there has been a mixed performance. So basically, there is a wide sector distribution. All right. The ones which had run up quite a bit, like TVS, Adani, they are witnessing some profit booking. Now, when you take a look at the energy space, you can see some stocks that are getting bottomed out. They are showing a good rise. PNB, after it shed off its negative news flow, it's gone up quite well, because it was the last amongst the PSU banks to really stage a very strong move, right? So now this has been the major gainers and losers. So now let's see how can we take action based on these kind of movements to decide on what suitable stocks to select and what kind of action we should be looking at. So let's now get into some chart setup, some reading setup, and then combine everything to get a very good understanding of what's happening. So let me now move on to the charts. Yeah, you're able to see this. You're able to see this charts, right? Okay. So right now, if you take a look at the chart, okay, if you take a look at the chart, what are you exactly seeing? Okay, what are you exactly seeing? You are observing. Okay, you are observing that the entire movement. Okay, the entire movement which emerged. Okay, the entire movement that emerged out here. Okay, the entire movement that emerged as a decline dropped into this gap zone. Okay, it dropped into this gap zone, and from there on, the prices have resulted in a very strong breakout. So you can see here that is gap zone around 18100 to 18050. They acted as a very good support. They acted as a very good support. So if you all had taken a look at some videos which I had posted, I had mentioned that on our YouTube channel. How many of you are part of our YouTube channel? We had mentioned that this particular, if you take a look here, I had mentioned that Banknifty holds the key. I had mentioned that Banknifty holds the key, and the levels which I had indicated in Banknifty came out quite well, because I had mentioned that yes, if Banknifty were to move on, then you would definitely see a movements in the entire market, right? That's what I had mentioned. And then subsequently, I followed it up with another video of the post-market outlook where I said that supports have held. So now the question is whether it will hold. And what I felt is that these supports have very high chances to hold. Yeah, that's what I felt. I felt that the supports have got very high chances to hold. So now if you again go back to the charts, okay, if you again go back to the charts, you can see here that at this juncture, the gap support, okay, the gap support does not necessary कि support का lower level touch हो जाए. तो gap zone जो है, it is like a demand zone, जहां पर buying आ सकती है. तो that is what has happened. और यहाँ पर buying आया है और यहाँ से you have seen a very good move to the upside. Now moving into the future, okay, moving into the future, 18050 to 18300 was a important zone. तो और 18500 पे अभी मैक्सिमम पेन पॉइंट आ चुका है, राइट? मैक्सिमम पेन पॉइंट आ चुका है यहाँ पर, और ये जोन जो है अब, this zone could be the next demand zone. So this zone could be your next demand zone going into the future, going into the next week. So 18500 से लेकर 18600 could be a very good demand zone which we have to track, because now waiting for a new high, new high तो आ गया है, अभी new high आने के बाद हमें काम करना है. So this is what is the indication which I am seeing. So this could be a very good gap zone which you can track and look to participate during the week. So these are some levels which I am looking at. Now again, coming back to the daily chart. Okay, let's come back to the daily chart. You can see here, okay, you can see here that the entire movement. Okay, let me just remove these blocks and let's just take a look at what has really happened in Nifty. When you see here, what has really happened in Nifty is that it first took a support out here, right? And then it has now taken this support level. So let me just change the color of this. You can see here that it took a support out here around 18100, right? Which was its high in April as well, tested in September, and then again retested once again in November. So managed to hold it 3 times. So now worst come worst scenario, अगर मान लीजिए कि वापस कुछ भयानक न्यूज आ गया और उसकी वजह से मार्केट में गिरावट आएगी, so this would be an important level for the bullish camp. Alright, so अब हम जो संकेत जो है उसको बढ़ा रहे हैं और अब जाकर worst support is at 18100 and trading support for the week is emerging at 18500. तो ये गैप सपोर्ट है और ये एक्चुअल वैल्यू एरिया सपोर्ट है. नाउ ओवरऑल मोमेंटम जो है इसका, अगर आप इसका मोमेंटम देखेंगे तो काफी पॉजिटिव है ओवरऑल. इंडिकेशंस आर गुड, सो वी शुड कंटिन्यू टू होल्ड अ बुलिश view in Nifty. Now, when you take a look at Bank Nifty, okay, let's take a look at Bank Nifty and see what Bank Nifty has in store for us. And okay, let's check the other chart. You can see here that Bank Nifty, all right, Bank Nifty in comparison is moving much stronger. Okay, Bank Nifty in comparison is moving much stronger, and you can see here that after going up, there is a doji. So what you got to understand is that the trends are getting stretched right now, and you can see that the bank's movement will now depend. Okay, bank's movement will now depend on the private banks also. Bank's movement will depend on the private banks also. So now the redeeming factor is that the weekly candle of Bank Nifty is very positive. It's a nice long body candle above the set of highs, which is around 41,700. जो मैंने मेरे वीडियो में कहा था, ये वीडियो जो आप देखेंगे यहाँ पे, ये वीडियो है बैंक निफ्टी होल्ड्स द की. तो यहाँ पर मैंने कहा था कि 41,700 इज अ वर्स्ट कम सिनेरियो. ओके, सो दैट कंटिन्यूज टू होल्ड, सो नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. अभी इसको जरा ऊपर लेके जा सकते हैं. उसके लिए अगर इफ यू गो टू एन इंट्राडे चार्ट, राइट, so let me just enlarge this view here. Okay, let me just enlarge this view here, and you can see that there has been a steady rounding formation. तो ये एक अच्छा ओवरऑल सेटअप माना जाता है when there is a steady rounding formation. तो ये जो राउंडिंग फॉर्मेशन है और ये जो मूवमेंट है, अगर बैंक निफ्टी में डिक्लाइन आ जाए टुवर्ड्स 42,400 would be a very good support zone. 400 to 500 would be a very good support zone. Now, okay, now if you are expecting Bank Nifty to move from here, I had mentioned in that video that 44,000 is a very good area to watch out for. 44,000 is a very good area to watch out for. और 44,000 जो है, ओके, 44,000 जो है, ये मेरा एक्सपेक्टेड टारगेट है. तो उसके लिए बैंक निफ्टी को क्या करना पड़ेगा? उसको बैंक निफ्टी के लिए यहां से दोबारा उठना पड़ेगा, और उसके लिए प्राइवेट बैंक्स की पार्टिसिपेशन जरूरी है, राइट. सो एज ऑफ नाउ ओवर द वीकेंड SGX इज पॉजिटिव. सो व्हेन वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग टू बिगिन द डे ऑन मंडे, वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग टू हैव अ पॉजिटिव स्टार्ट. We need to see whether it will transpire to all the other elements as well, right? That's a condition which we need to see. So now let's quickly go into stock analyzer and find out exactly what is the overall view in Nifty and Bank Nifty. So now you can see here that from a neutral stance, the multi-day and the positional has gone into a buy mode, and well, the intraday is get started, but the scores have started improving. If you notice, the scores have started improving, and that's what is a very, very good sign what I am observing, right? That's the very good sign which I'm observing, that the scores have improved, and you can see here that the scores have been doing quite well, and that will be a very good factor to look at. Now, when you go ahead and you take a look at the other parameters, you can see here that there are, of course, थोड़ा अपवर्ड ड्राइव हो गया तो रिवर्सल तो आएगा ही, but then overall you will see that on multi-day and positional there are long signals being generated, so which is a clear indication that there is a movement out there. So let me just also ensure that we are able to get a good idea. Okay, so hold on a moment. Now when you take a look at the movement which is happening, okay, when you take a look at the movement which is happening, you can see that the entire movement, the entire price action, okay, the entire price action which we are witnessing right now is clearly indicating that market has got more room to the upside, and for that we need to see what kind of momentum which we can expect. So overall momentum is positive, and that's why we should continue to look at Nifty with a positive view. और ये जो लेवल्स है फिलहाल, you can see here that we are well above the TS line and supports are far away. So that means that every dip will continue to be a buy opportunity. Okay, let's now go to Bank Nifty. And when you see a Bank Nifty, right, even in Bank Nifty, you can see that the multi-day and the positional, they have also turned into a buy zone. So when higher time frames scores भी अच्छे हुए हैं higher time frames के, so overall there is a positivity. Well, on the intraday, yes, it's yet to get started, but that is something which will revive, because higher time frames अगर positive है तो lower time frames में भी आपको उसमें जब भी momentum आए आप काम कर सकते हैं. So that is the indication हमें मिलता है from the higher time frame. All right. So that is the indication now which we are getting from the Nifty and Bank Nifty. Let's now check out based on the overall movement. Okay, based on the overall movement, what is the situation of the momentum? तो हम मोमेंटम पर ध्यान देंगे क्योंकि अभी हमें मोमेंटम चाहिए, राइट? तो हम मोमेंटम पर ध्यान देने के लिए हम अभी चलते हैं सेक्टर पेज पे. Okay, let's go into the sector page, right? Let's go into the sector page and find out. Okay, what are we going to do in the sector page? We are again going back to the sector page, and then we are now going to select certain sectors which have you can see here that PSU banks have done very well in the last month. Okay, so if you take the monthly performance, they have done very well. Now when you take a look at the overall weekly performance, let's see how the overall weekly performance is available and what kind of view which we can take as far as the momentum is concerned. So now for that, what I'll do is I will move here to the RSI trends.